You ever walk into a room and suddenly all eyes are on you, not because you're shouting or wearing something outrageous, but because there's just something about the way you move, the way you carry yourself, the way you exist. That's the power of body language. And when you know how to use it right, it can make a man crave your presence, your energy, your vibe, without him even understanding why. Today we're diving deep, past all the surface level stuff, and exploring the real psychological triggers behind attraction. And guess what? You don't need to change your appearance. You don't need to memorize pickup lines. All you need is awareness of your own body language and the subtle, silent messages it sends. Let's talk about how women all around the world, whether they know it or not, use body language to become magnetic, unforgettable, and completely irresistible. And no, this isn't about being fake or manipulative. This is about understanding your own power and using it with intention. So get comfortable, grab a drink, and let's get into this together. Because by the time we're done, you're going to see yourself and the way men see you very differently. You know, body language is funny. It's ancient. It's primal. Way before we had words, we had glances, posture, touch, space, and the wild part, our brains still respond to that silent language before they process anything verbal. A guy might hear what you say, but it's what you do with your eyes, your hands, the tilt of your head. That's what sticks in his subconscious. Think about it. How often have you met someone and instantly felt either pulled in or totally put off before they even opened their mouth? That's not random. That's instinct meeting signals. Now imagine what happens when a woman knows what signals she's sending. She becomes magnetic, the kind of woman a man thinks about on the drive home, the kind he tries to explain to his friends but can't quite put into words. She just had something about her, he says. And that something is what we're talking about today. Let's start with something subtle. Imagine you're in a conversation with a guy. You're laughing, listening, present. Now, without even realizing it, your body starts to mirror his. If he leans in, you do too. If he tilts his head, you follow just a bit. That's called mirroring, and it's one of the oldest, most powerful subconscious cues of attraction. When you mirror someone, their brain interprets it as, she gets me, she's like me, we're in sync. It builds a quiet comfort between you two that feels completely natural. But here's the key, it has to be subtle. Forced mirroring is obvious and awkward, but natural mirroring, that's electric. Another big one that women often underestimate is stillness. Sounds strange, right? But let me explain. In a world where everyone's fidgeting with their phones, adjusting their hair, looking around the room, stillness stands out. When a woman can be calm, relaxed, and unbothered in her body, it sends one clear message: confidence. Confidence doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be flashy. Sometimes the quietest woman in the room has the strongest presence, simply because her energy is grounded. A confident posture, a straight spine, relaxed shoulders, and a soft, steady gaze can say more than 1,000 words. And eye contact. Oh man, eye contact is a whole universe of its own. There's the glance that lingers just a second longer than it should, the look away that invites him to chase it, the subtle up and down scan that tells him, I see you. Eye contact is intimate. It's bold, and when you get it right, it can feel like electricity between two people. But again, the magic is in the timing. Too much, and it feels invasive. Too little, and the spark dies before it can catch. The sweet spot, just enough to make him wonder if you were looking at him for a reason, or if he imagined it. Now, let's talk about the walk, because how you move through space says so much about how you feel in your skin. A walk with purpose, with a slight sway of the hips, with your head held high, that's not just sexy, that's commanding. It tells the room you belong there. It tells him you're someone worth noticing. And look, you don't have to strut like you're on a runway. It's not about drama, it's about presence. Even in sneakers, even in jeans, you can own the room just by the way you walk through it. What about touch? Now this one's powerful, but delicate. A light casual touch on the arm during a laugh, a gentle graze of his hand when you hand him something. These small moments of contact create sparks. Why? Because they're unexpected, they're personal, and they create a physical memory that his brain doesn't forget. Touch bypasses logic. It goes straight to the emotional brain, and when used with grace, it builds connection faster than anything else. Let's zoom out for a second. Think about how animals communicate. A dog wags its tail when it's happy. A cat arches its back when it's threatened. Humans, we're no different. We just dress it up in social norms. But underneath, we're still wired to read each other's movements and expressions. That's why a playful smile, a gentle laugh, a raised eyebrow, it all speaks louder than the words we say. A woman who knows how to use these expressions doesn't just talk, she enchants. And maybe one of the most underrated body language moves is simply being fully present. Not checking your phone, not scanning the room, just being in the moment. When you give someone your full attention, especially as a woman, it makes them feel seen. And feeling seen, that's rare. That's what creates emotional hunger. Sometimes the sexiest thing about a woman is the way she listens. I mean, really listens, not just waiting for her turn to speak, but tuning into what's being said. Her eyes lock in. Her head tilts slightly. Her body leans just a little closer. No distractions, just presence. That moment, when a man realizes you're not just hearing him, you feel him. That's the moment he starts craving more. And here's the truth. It's not about trying to be someone you're not. It's not about acting like some fantasy version of femininity. It's about tapping into what's already there. Your natural rhythm, your authentic energy, your quiet power. You don't need to be loud to be noticed. You don't need to be perfect to be magnetic. You just need to understand how powerful your body already is. Men are wired to respond to cues they don't even realize they're picking up. And the woman who knows that, who uses that knowledge with authenticity and warmth, she becomes unforgettable. So maybe it's the way you tilt your head when you're intrigued. Maybe it's the way you laugh, not too loud, not too soft, just real. Maybe it's the calm, quiet confidence in the way you sit, in the way you walk, in the way you pause before speaking. Whatever it is, you don't need to chase anyone. When you understand your body language and the psychology behind attraction, you become the one they chase. And that, right there, is where the real power lies. Thanks for spending this time with me today. If you felt seen, heard, or inspired, stick around. There's so much more to explore about the unspoken magic of connection and attraction. And remember, you don't have to do anything outrageous to be unforgettable. Just be present, be real, be aware, and let your body do the rest. See you in the next one.